ThunderCatzent.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Ezekiel the Barber back with another YouTube video for you. This time on today's client, we'll be doing a Fohawk with a design. We'll be using the Oster Octane clipper with the one blade. So that's the one blade on there. That's what the one looks like. Now we'll start by setting our first guideline in the shape of a Fohawk. This is kind of like the skeleton work. Now I have previously done this haircut on this client. This is just another haircut that he's coming back for. He likes it. Basically he does 2 lines on both sides and a star, and that's what we'll be doing today. Now once again, like in my last video, I just want to get clean guidelines. I want to take that one, go over it north, south, east, and west as many times as I can, just to make sure that that guideline is really clean. I don't see hair that's uneven. Everything is a 1 and it looks really clean. Now once that's done, then I'll go ahead and go on to the next step on the other side and do the same exact thing. Now, the critical thing about the Fohawks is that you pretty much want to do whatever you do on the left, you want to do on the right. So, and that's it. However far you go up on the left or however far you go up on the right, you just want to do the same thing on the opposite side as well. So this is kind of like the skeleton work. Now, previously I had put a hard part on this client and you could see where the line is right above. Basically this haircut, I'm looking to erase that. I want to go higher on another design. Similar line, but I just want to go higher on that. So eventually I'll try and erase that line. Right now I'm still trying to set clean guidelines. There's still a little weight that I want to make sure that is off of this first guideline before I go to my next step. So I'll just go over this a few times, left and right. Any dark spots that I see, I just want to go over that real good just to make everything once again as even as possible. Okay, so now the next step, we're using that 2 guard to try to vanish and get rid of that line that you had just seen. Because once again, we're going to try to put a part in that's even higher than the last one. So basically what we're doing is using a guard or a metal clip that's low enough to kind of erase that line. In this case, I'm using a 2 guard, and I'll use that same 2 guard on this side just to kind of duplicate these steps. Make sure that whatever I do on the left, I do on the right. Now, in my experience, you really have only about 25-30 minutes with kids before they start to kind of get agitated, kind of restless, wanting to go, which is totally understandable at some of these young ages. So I'll just continue on with this 2 guard, just making sure that everything is nice and even. And then we'll go on to the next step, which is the 1 guard. And I'll use the clipper all the way open, just attacking that line. Now I don't want to go too high because I don't want to blend into that 2 guard. I just want to attack that little line, that hard line that you see. That's how you really start to blend, you know. Take care of that hard line. Now you'll do a combination of opening and closing your clipper, as you can see. The higher I am to the top of the head, the more open my clipper is. The closer I am to the bottom where everything is nice and tight to like a 1, I'll keep my clipper closed. And as you can see, it's just a combination of opening and closing your clipper. Wherever you see dark areas, you know, you want to just make sure you take those dark areas and smooth them on out. So right now we have the clipper all the way open at the bottom. This is just taking some of that hard weight from the bottom of the haircut that blends into his haircut. I just want it to be a smooth transition. Now as you can see, the haircut is starting to form. The Fohawk is starting to form. Now I'm attacking that hard line with that 1 guard. Right now it's all the way closed, attacking the line. The closer I get to the top of his head, I'll open that up. So it's a combination of opening and closing your clipper while attacking the hard line at the guideline that you just set. Now we'll continue this process. We'll keep attacking that line. The main objective is to just make everything smooth, a smooth transition. And as you can see, the Fohawk is definitely taking its form now. We're chiseling off the hair that we don't need. I really love the Wahl senior clipper. I mean, this clipper really can handle wet hair, dry hair, hair that may have gel in it. I mean, these clippers are really good clippers. So I'll start setting the outline of his haircut with the Babylis trimmer. Now, as you can see, man, kids like to move. So you want to be, you have to be really accurate and precise. Though this client's not moving a whole lot. I mean, it gets really bad sometimes in the barber shop, but he's doing a really excellent job. Now I'm using the Andis cordless trimmer with the T-edger blade just to set kind of the outline of his lineup. All right, so the cut looks like it's taking its form now. So we'll go ahead and move that lineup that I told you from the side to the top of his hair. Now, during this process, the clipper that is kind of like my preference, because you see these long hairs in there. Sometimes you can get stuck trying to put that line in there. Sometimes it gets really hard. You need a clipper that's going to be able to cut through those long hairs. Sometimes you could take a guard and take the hair down small enough for you to be able to get in there with liners that are able to cut through that. But this Babylis trimmer is definitely my preference. As you can see, I'm using different techniques to be able to get through that long hair. Sometimes I use it sideways, sometimes I use the corners, sometimes I use it long ways. This time I'm just using the corner to create a path down the line, because the long hairs I really don't want to get rid of because it's a part of the haircut, but I still have to get these lines in there. So as you can see, it's a really intricate job, but this is just the way that it made sense for me to do it. So now I want to take some of this weight off, so I'm using the Wahl senior clipper with the 2 guard now. Has really long teeth to where it's almost effortless just getting through that long hair. And now I'll go back to the Oster Octane using the metal 2 guard. For some reason, the metal guards tend to take off more hair than the plastic guards. So since I want to take off more weight, I decided to go back to the Oster Octane and use the metal 2 guard. Makes the haircut a lot cleaner too. So things are looking smoother. The main objective is just to make everything flow, make everything blend. Anywhere that I see weight, I just want to kind of even that out. I see a little weight down here at the bottom. I want to take just that corner off and leave the hawk. I don't really want to touch the hawk in the middle, but I want to get the outside. So I use the corner of the blade just to get off kind of what I want. And once again, I don't really want to touch the hawk, but the outsides of that, I pretty much want that even. So I'm doing the same thing on both sides, just to try to get those to match. Now I know I'm gonna put a line on this left-hand side too. Okay, so we'll start attempting to put the hard part on the left-hand side, just like we did on the right, using the Babylis trimmer still. Okay, cool. So now basically I like to turn my client towards the mirror. You can't see it because the mirror is behind the camera, but he's faced towards the mirror just to kind of make sure everything looks even, everything's on track. So everything appears to be kind of even here. And normally I would put water in to kind of help the parting process, but it doesn't seem like we kind of need it at this moment, so I'll just continue on. Now I'll make the lines a little fatter as needed, go over them on both sides, and just make sure everything looks even. Okay, that looks pretty good right there so far. So I just want to clean things up a little bit more, take some more weight off with that 2 metal with the Oster Octane. Definitely a beast clipper. I'll do this on both sides just to kind of make sure everything is that much more even. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. So then I'll also go back to the Wahl clipper, clean things up on the lower end. So that's what I have now. I have a Wahl clipper without the guard. I have that lever all the way open. I just want to just clean up the bottom where I use that one. Just make sure things are really smooth. Now I'm back to the 1 guard, and I'm attacking any hard weight that I see using the corners of my clipper, going against the grain in this case, with the grain, just cutting in every single direction, making sure that I can get that hair as even as possible within those guideline zones. This is the same zone that I used the one guard in. We'll do that on both sides. My man's getting tired. You don't have long when they're in the seat. So you kind of have to make haste with your time. All right, so everything's smoothing out with that one. I like the way that's looking. I just want to, make those dark areas as smooth as possible, make them look just like the right. As you can see, things are kind of smoothing out, getting a little better. You just kind of want to work at it. So as you can see, when I do the corners, I like to turn the clipper the other way around. Especially on little kids, they have super sensitive skin. So you just want to be really easy and just be smart when you cut. I mean, there's always a better way to do something. So, if it makes sense to you, if it's safe, I would suggest that you go that route. Now we're gonna start his design. Basically how I start the star is do like an upside down V. So you'll see like an upside down V. There it is. And then I'll go over that, clean it up. I'm not digging, I'm going really easy. And then I'll just put a line across, just like you see me doing now. So this upside down V, this line across the top. And then I'm just gonna make these two lines connect. So I'll just go over it, and then boom, make that line connect to the opposite side. Now there's one part of the star, and then just literally the other side connect to the bottom, just like so. There's the star. Now, my main objective here is to kind of clean out the middle of this star, all the hair that's in there. I just want to use the corner of this Babylis trimmer and get those hairs out of there. I kind of have the star look. I just want to insinuate things by taking the inside of that hair and getting rid of it. Okay, so and the way I achieve this is letting the clipper cut. You don't have to dig into their head. You just have to put it on the hair and let it cut. So as you can see, I'm just following the guideline of the star. Now this is just a really fast and creative way to put a star in a client's head. And if you do it this way, essentially it could be error-proof. As you can see, I'm just using the corners of this Babylis clipper to clean everything out. Looks like he's doing good. You want to make sure they're as still as possible. So now it's looking like it's getting a little cleaner. There's a few hairs in there. Just want to make sure you get those out. Sometimes, you can brush or comb it out. All right. So then, bam. Once you pretty much got it in there, I like to go into the next step because I can always come back and do cleanup work like I'm doing now. The next step that I like to do is literally put a star around this star. Kind of makes things pop out better, insinuates the design. So that's what we're gonna do here. That looks cool, okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and go to the next step. So we'll put a star around this star. So I'm just gonna follow my same outline of the star that I just created, using the corners, nice and easy. You don't have to go hard, especially when your clippers are sharpened. You just have to let the clippers do their job and you guide them. Just be really smooth. And as you can see how I'm using those corners, all right, boom. So we have one side kind of getting pretty clean. And like I said, once you do the skeleton work, you can always go back and dial things in like I'm doing now, make them pop, look a little better. But when you're in the shop, I mean, you have to continue on with the work. You don't have all day to really do these designs. They're moving. You know, so, you know, you have to take advantage while, you know, things are going good. You got to kind of really get in there and get, you know, get things moving. You really have to be accurate and precise. Now, a lot of this takes time. To some, it takes years, but everyone's on their own time and learning curve, so everybody's different. Now, it can all be achieved. I remember the days when I couldn't even put a line in a haircut. Now I'm putting stars and designs. I mean, hey, anybody can do it. So you see me following the outline of this star. Everything's looking good. I want to bring a line down just to kind of make it pop, make it kind of look like a shooting star a little bit. Okay, all right, boom. So it looks like we're going somewhere. We finally got this design in here. It's kind of like a skeleton. Now we just have to clean everything up. So the clipper that I'm using now is the Andis trimmer, cordless trimmer clipper. Another really excellent clipper that I keep in my arsenal. I have two of these actually. One has the Andis edger outliner blade, and then the other one has the Andis T-edger outliner blade. Now, the difference that I like with these two blades is one has a short blade and one has a longer blade, which, you know, they both serve their purposes to me. I like using the shorter blade on kids lineups. The longer blade like this one I like to use to do designs or lineups on adults. Just really, in my opinion, two really good blades made by Andis. Now, as I stated earlier, it's kind of better to go over a lineup a few times than, you know, trying to put it in one hard time. The clippers are gonna cut, so as long as you're guiding them, they're gonna do their job. So you see me just smoothing everything out, just wanna make everything pop that much more. And once again, I'm just using a really light touch. Getting in those grooves with the corner of the clipper. Another really good reason why I like cordless clippers. I mean, you could pretty much put these designs in almost effortlessly at any angle. You're not restricted by any cords or what have you. So now I'm just gonna start on his lineup. I like to cut by the look. If everything looks good, you know, then we're good. But if there's things that just don't look good, we definitely have to go over it and get it right. Okay, so I'm just lining them up, really easy touch. And let me tell you, man, these kids have really soft skin. So, I mean, you really have to have an unbelievably easy touch when you're cutting them up. So we're just gonna attempt to, you know, insinuate everything, go over the lineup, you know, make everything that much cleaner. Here, I kind of want to smooth out that back a little bit. I see a little dark areas, so, you know, my main objective is to kind of shape out the haircut, shape the lineup up with these trimmers, go behind, go back and fix, you know, any areas that I think, you know, needs to be cleaner. Now, once again, you only have so much time. I wish you could spend all day on one haircut, but unfortunately, that's not gonna pay the bills. So you gotta kind of make haste with your time, kind of be on point, be efficient. Now, I've seen times in the barbershop where, you know, people come in asking for designs, someone's clippers may be too sharp, the kid's moving, you know, ear gets in the way, neck gets in the way, they get cut. That just creates a lot of problems. So you really want to be really efficient. If you can do the design, then, you know, say you can do it. But if you're not one of those barbers where, you know, you're not, you know, your design skills aren't really up to par, you know, you want to be a little bit cautious. Now, I'm always with being courageous, but, you know, you got to keep people's time and their kids and their money and, you know, respect what, you know, they want as well. So, you know, This definitely takes practice, but seeing is believing. Videos like this can definitely help you achieve greatness with your own skills. So once again, I'm just going over everything, trying to get it that much more cleaner, make the left look like the right and vice versa. Just, you know, just trying to bring everything together. Make sure that this cut looks good. Now, eventually I'm gonna Fohawk this young man up, kind of give him like a dino cut look. Everything's kind of coming together. Just want to kind of go over everything, make sure it's nice and clean. Now I'm using the Babylis cordless trimmer on this one. Just want to do some finishing work, kind of insinuate those lines, bring everything out, see if I can clean this cut up just a little bit more. So we're gonna start getting some of this hair off of the back neckline, making that look just like the other side, bringing everything together. I like using the clippers from this angle when I'm cutting up little kids. You see I use the corner to get around the ear. The Babylis trimmer really makes it easy to do this, and I really love the design of this clipper. I mean, it definitely does good work. Once again, we're just gonna go in there, use the corners of this Babylis trimmer to kind of insinuate those lines, make everything pop a little better. And yeah, I'll just go over everything, let the clippers do their job, nice and light. Just let those, and it's good to kind of have a little jiggle in there with the clipper, whether you go up or down a little bit or left or right a little bit. Kind of helps get those hairs out of there. Everything's looking pretty even here. I want to get the hairs off the bottom, still make that Fohawk kind of pointy and pop a little bit better. So we'll just get these little hairs out of here, neck hairs. And in the neck area, you definitely want to be really smooth. I mean, I talked about having a light hand before, but in the back neck area like this, you want to be really smooth, really light touch. So I've applied a little gel in his hair, just kind of pick that hawk out a little bit, form it towards the middle. It's still growing out. Has this dino cut coming together. My man, just about ready. Now I just want to go over, get some of these little front hairs out that kind of take away from the cut, kind of in no man's land. Even out the top a little bit. All right, starting to look good. So we're just gonna go back and line them up. The clipper that I'm using now is the Andis Slimline Pro. It's their first edition, the lithium ion edition. Really good clipper, especially on kids. Just kind of really soft blade. And they still does a really good job to me as far as lining them up. Almost a perfect clipper for kids. So I'm just going really light, just want to clean everything up as clean as possible. He's pretty much done here. All right, cool. So I just like to dust them off, clean everything up as much as possible. I'll be dropping these videos every few days. Hit that like, subscribe button. You'll be notified when I drop a new haircut. Till next time, thanks for watching.